Why is goal setting important? It gives you something to work towards. It gives you purpose. People who are purpose poor, um, it really, there's a direct correlation with how their mental health is. People with depression tend to probably low on having purpose. So goals can help you build in some daily, weekly, monthly, find your purpose, have some things that you're a reason to get up for, something to work towards. It keeps you motivated, which is important, especially when our routines have been thrown upside down, um, working from home and so on. It keeps you focused and on task, which is important, which sometimes it can be just a distraction, which is great. Distractions are not a bad thing. We don't want to obviously avoid and not deal with stuff, but sometimes it's nice just to have a distraction from what's going on. When you achieve the goal, it feels good. You get those feel good chemicals, right? It makes it, it's kind of that pay to play. You put a little bit of work in. Yeah, maybe you worked all week to finally get your garage in order. And man, when you look and you're like, man, that feels good, right? That's motivating. You put a little bit of work in and you got the reward at the end, which increases our grit and our perseverance. It helps us when, and I'll see if I can get the saying right this time. I totally glitched it yesterday. Um, when the tough get, I'm glitching it again. The saying of the tough get when the tough times come, the tough get going. Or anyways, I'm totally messing that up. But grit and perseverance is being able to stick to things and work through when you're maybe your boots are in the mud and they're kind of dragging you down. If you can develop that pattern, it's going to be so beneficial physically and mentally because life is all about ups and downs. It's not a calm roller coaster, but the more grit we have, the more perseverance we have, the more we're going to stick to it and work through it and get to the other side. SMART goals, if you're not familiar with SMART goals, I know they're pretty common in education. Um, Basically is how do we set a good goal, and that's what we're going to talk about, is how to set a goal and then how to commit to one. Make sure our goal is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So we're going to look at a poor example of a goal. I will exercise. That goal is not specific. It's very vague. It's hard to measure what type of exercise you're going to do, how often, how long in each duration. It may be attainable, but it's foggy on what you're looking to attain. It's probably relevant. We're going to assume that's relevant to this individual. There's no finish line. When do you plan to achieve this goal by? I will exercise. I don't know. So let's rewrite this goal a lot better. I will run 3 times per week for at least 30 minutes each workout session. It is very specific. That goal is written very specific. You're running 3 times a week for 30 minutes each session. We can measure, it's measurable, so the M part, it's measurable, 30 minutes per week, 3 times a week. You can put a checklist and say, yep, there's number 1, number 2, number 3, 90 minutes at the end of the week. So the attainable piece, SMA, attainable, that's really up to you. Make sure your goal is attainable, that you can actually achieve your goal. You don't want to you want to find a magic spot in the middle. Don't set the bar so high. So this is actually my goal for this week. If I put, and I haven't ran a whole lot in really quite a long time, if I set the bar so high, I want to run 5 times a week, 60 minutes each session, I just physically could not do that. That's setting the bar too high. If I put, I'll run 15 minutes this week, that's setting the bar pretty low. Make sure it's attainable, but it's just a little bit out of reach, that you have to work towards it. Maybe I have a couple blisters on my feet that are starting, that I got to build up that part of my foot. I got to grind a little bit, but it's not too out of reach. This goal is relevant and realistic for me because I know personally. Make sure you set them to your own standards. And then the goal is time-based. It must be met by the end of the week. So it passed the test. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, it's time-based. So we can set goals, really do what's best for you. You can set a big yearly goal, then you can break that down into monthly goals. You can break those down into weekly goals, and then you can also set daily goals. I think for now, daily and weekly goals is a good start. Getting into the goal setting habit, if you're not into it, I think it's really important. I know myself, I am constantly working towards something. It keeps me motivated, it keeps me driven, and it gives me purpose. To-do lists, I'm a big believer in just an old school to-do list. There's some fancy ways to do to-do lists. You can YouTube that if you want. Um, Honestly, write down what I do is every Monday I rewrite my to-do list. I carry over what I didn't get done the week before, and some stuff I'm working on for a couple weeks. It's a ritual I got into a number of years ago. I have to work to be organized. I'm not naturally an organized person. This keeps me organized. Find out a system that works for you. It could be as simple, and to-do list stuff, I'm telling you, I remember one of my professors said, when you cross that thing off in your to-do list, it feels good, and it friggin' does. I tell you, at the end of the week when I go through and I'm like, and it could be something as simple as sent email to the tax lady, right? And make sure I follow up on my taxes. Okay, I got that done. And you look and you feel that feeling of accomplishment. You got 5 or 6 things crossed out. Pretty simple stuff, but it can have profound results. That slide's not good. So the path to positive change, we're going to briefly talk about. So goal setting is 50%, setting really good goals, making sure they're smart, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. But now we need to look at, okay, the commitment piece. There's kind of there's a spectrum from wishing to committing. This is based on the theory of change, which has, I think, 5 pieces to it, a bit more complicated. This is a simplified version. So if you want positive change, which could be anything from increased mood, decreased anxiety, increased physical exercise, whatever, there's kind of 3 areas. We can wish, we can want, we can commit. Wishing is we're starting to think about positive change. I'm thinking about starting to run. Okay, I think I'm going to run 3 times a week. Wanting is one step further, saying, okay, I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to run this route I have here in Nelson, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to run 3 times a week. And then, so you're really starting to kind of hone in your plan. Committing is, okay, I'm starting Monday. I'm committing to this. When the honeymoon period wears off, I'm going to keep committing. And I'll tell you right now, the magic happens when we commit. In therapy, clients that I work with who commit to therapy, who do their homework, have had phenomenal results. And this is people dealing with quite high anxiety, depression, people who wish and want, but do not commit, the results are less so. So we really need to think, really need to get into that commitment piece. Reach out to someone that maybe can hold you accountable. That will help you commit, right? And I just put this quote into, a lot of times choose the path of moderate resistance, not least resistance. We need to be a little bit uncomfortable if we want to reap the rewards. So when we're thinking of committing for those goals, a lot of times we want the quick fix that our society is built around that right now.